The 10 most addictive foods, and why you can't stop eating them. We all have that one food we cannot resist, or maybe 10 foods, if we're honest. In fact, a University of Michigan study found 92% of people have super addictive cravings for specific foods, and about 1 in 10 show signs of full-blown food addiction. Pretty big issue for society, isn't it? But what exactly do these irresistible foods have in common? It's simple. They're typically ultra-processed and loaded with fat, sugar, or salt, which pretty much is a combo that lights up your brain's reward center like a pinball machine. Enough with the intro, though. Let's cut to the chase, or should we say cheese? Here are the top 10 foods most likely to hold you hostage at the buffet, and why you literally can't eat just one. 10. Cheese. Cheese, or as some wags call it, dairy crack, kicks off our list. If you have ever found yourself unable to stop nibbling on cheese slices or always going back for that extra cheesy pizza, there's a scientific reason for it. Cheese contains casein, a milk protein that when digested breaks down into casomorphins. Casomorphins are compounds that bind to the brain's opiate receptors, triggering a release of your brain's pleasure chemical, known as dopamine. In other words, when you eat cheese, you unleash tiny molecules into your body that stimulate your brain in the same way morphine or heroin would, although on a much smaller scale, thankfully. 9. Cake. We've all told ourselves at different occasions that we'll have just one slice of cake, haven't we? Pretty cute, because 30 minutes later, we find ourselves staring at a fully devoured cake, wondering what happened. The culprit behind this is pretty easy to identify: sugar and fat, which cake delivers in spades. When you bite into a cake, the sugar has well-documented drug-like effects, like your brain releasing opioids and dopamine, giving you intense feelings of pleasure that with time, you'll find difficult to move away from. As a matter of fact, in one Princeton experiment, rats that were fed a high-sugar diet exhibited withdrawal symptoms like tremors and anxious behavior when the sugar was taken away, much like a drug addict in detox. Yikes. 8. Soda and sugary drinks. Your fizzy cola and neon-colored energy drink might go down like liquid happiness, but you should know it's basically sugar on tap, with a caffeine kicker that your brain can't get enough of. Will you do yourself a favor and just look at the ingredients next time you pop a can open? You'll see that a can of regular soda often packs around 40 grams of sugar, which is roughly 10 teaspoons. Chugging that in liquid form may give you pure sweet pleasure, but in the end, all you're doing is lighting up your brain's reward circuitry, releasing dopamine, and giving yourself a nice little high. Let's not even get started on diet sodas. That's a whole other can of worms. The big problem that comes after is that liquids don't make us feel full the way solid food does. So you can gulp down 150 calories of soda, and your brain barely registers it. You don't get any signals of "I'm full, stop now," and that makes overconsumption dangerously easy. Add caffeine to the mix, which many sodas have, and now you've got a stimulant drug boosting the addictive potential even more. 7. Juicy cheeseburgers, aka the quintessential fast food fix. Let's be real. Resisting a good burger is tough because there's a lot going on there by design. First, you've got fatty, savory red meat topped with melty cheese that says hello again. Casomorphins. You've probably got a strip of crispy bacon, because why not add more fat and salt? Then there's the soft bun, lightly sweetened, and the sprinkling of salt on everything. This combination of fat, salt, and a touch of sugar basically hijacks your brain's rewards. In fact, former FDA Commissioner Dr. David Kessler has described junk foods like cheeseburgers as being engineered to hit the precise bliss point that leaves us wanting more. Meaning that with each bite, your brain responds by releasing dopamine and reinforcing the behavior. You tell yourself, "That was great, do it again." And over time, your addiction becomes a loop of craving and satisfaction that's hard to break. The fast food industry, of course, knows exactly what it's doing. So when you polish off a cheeseburger and immediately daydream about the next one, remember, it's not just you. Your brain has been expertly conditioned to queue up for that charbroiled fix. 6. French fries. Whether they're the fast food kind or gourmet bistro style, fries are a perfect storm of addictive elements. Salt? Check. Fat? Oh yeah. And here's a sneaky one. Sugar. Fast food chains like McDonald's are known to coat their fries in dextrose for that golden color and slight sweetness. And when you taste that crisp, slightly sweet exterior and the soft, starchy inside, your brain instantly says, "Wow, that's incredible, I want another one." It's the can't stop, won't stop phenomenon in action. The problem here is food scientists have found that foods like fries that literally dissolve in your mouth can trick your brain into thinking you haven't eaten much. This is called vanishing caloric density. It is why when you eat fries, especially the thin fast food variety, your brain's satisfactory sensors are like, I guess we're not full yet, keep them coming. Add to that the aroma, which alone activates brain regions linked to pleasure and memory, and you'll have dopamine reinforcing the behavior. Crunch, pleasure, reach for more, repeat. 5. Ice cream. Late night, Netflix on, pint of ice cream in hand, and before you know it, you're scraping the bottom of the container thinking, ice cream is notoriously hard to put down. The reason for this is simple. Ice cream is basically a frozen concoction of cream, which includes fat and sugar. Two of the most rewarding ingredients on Earth served in a form that literally numbs your tongue so you can keep shoveling it in. Many people do not know this, but the cold temperature of ice cream actually plays a sneaky role, numbing your taste buds slightly, so the flavors don't immediately overwhelm you, and you don't hit a flavor saturation point too soon. So you can keep eating and eating and eating before your brain gets the memo that you've had enough. Also, because it's so cold, many ice creams pack extra sugar to make sure the sweetness comes through despite the numbing effects. The sugar causes a quick spike in dopamine, and next thing you know, you want more and more of the pleasure you get from it. 4. Cookies. Who wouldn't love to inhale a whole sleeve of Oreos or demolish a plate of fresh chocolate chip cookies? We certainly would, but maybe not after realizing the powerful addiction potential cookies have. Those little treats are basically sugars and fat bombs waiting to explode. The classic chocolate chip cookie, for example, contains loads of brown and white sugar, butter, refined flour that behaves like sugar in your body, and often a hit of salt that makes the sweet pop. It's a perfect formula that makes your brain scream, "Yum, I need more." Now, if you don't believe cookies can be biologically addictive, you will be surprised to learn that in a shocking experiment, researchers at Connecticut College found that Oreos, yes, Milk's favorite cookie, might be just as addictive as cocaine, at least for lab rats. On a chemical level, cookies give you a rapid hit of blood sugar, quick energy, and a mood lift, followed by a crash that, you guessed it, prompts you to reach for another cookie to get the high back. Many cookies also have chocolate, which adds caffeine and theobromine into the mix of stimulating compounds. Ultimately, the humble cookie checks all the addiction boxes, and it's no wonder Cookie Monster isn't just a character. It's a fairly proper description of us when a plate of cookies is around. 3. Chips. The endless loop addiction to potato chips and their snack siblings is the stuff of legend. We've all been there. You open a big bag just to have a few, and suddenly you're tipping the crumbs into your mouth like a hungry anteater. So, what black magic makes chips so impossible to resist? It turns out it's a carefully engineered, perfect storm of factors. Chips deliver the ideal trifecta of salt, fat, and crunch, which hits the aforementioned bliss point that food scientist Howard Moskowitz described. The end result is a dopamine trigger we'll constantly chase with every bite because biting into a chip is literally a mini stress relief exercise. The crunch sound and sensation are enjoyable to our senses, and some psychologists say the crunch noise even amplifies the pleasure we get, making the chips seem fresher and more satisfying. Those are the qualities that make chips one of the most perfectly addictive foods around. So don't feel bad about licking the empty bag next time. It was always designed to end that way. 2. Chocolate. The team here includes a lot of chocoholics, and we know we're in good company because chocolate isn't just beloved. It's borderline addictive for many people. In fact, classic movies have been made about chocolate. So what makes it such an irresistible vice? For starters, chocolate is a chemical jackpot. It contains natural compounds that have drug-like effects. One is theobromine, a mild stimulant related to caffeine. Then there's anandamide, often called the bliss chemical, that binds to the same receptors in the brain as THC, the active ingredient in cannabis. So yes, chocolate literally contains a compound that gives a wee bit of a marijuana effect. How wild is that? Chocolate also has phenylethylamine, the so-called love drug, released when you're infatuated. It can elevate mood and is often cited as a reason chocolate gives you warm and fuzzy feelings. And let's not forget tryptophan, an amino acid in chocolate that the body uses to make serotonin, another neurotransmitter that makes you feel good. In short, eating chocolate is no different from executing a mini pharmacology lab experiment. We're talking about a hit of stimulant, a touch of cannabinoid, a sprinkle of love chemical, all delivered with a smile when you eat it. It's why the saying goes, 9 out of 10 people love chocolate, and the 10th is a liar. We totally get it. 1. Pizza. We don't expect anybody to be surprised by this. Pizza is universally adored and practically designed to make you overeat. In that University of Michigan study we mentioned earlier, pizza scored highest on the addiction scale, outranking all other foods. Why? It's because pizza combines so many addictive elements into one glorious delivery system. Let's break it down. The crust is basically refined carbohydrate, which your body quickly turns into sugar for that quick energy rush. Many pizza makers even add a bit of sugar to the dough or sauce, so you get a subtle sweetness. Then comes the sauce, which is usually a savory sweet tomato sauce that likely has added sugar and salt too, hitting both the sweet and salty sensors. Next, the cheese. Oh boy, the cheese. Loaded with fat and those sneaky casomorphins we talked about that can activate opiate receptors and make you crave like a dog wanting a bone. On top of that, if you're a pepperoni or sausage fan, add more fat and salt into the mix. What you have in sum is the holy trinity of addiction: sugar, fat, and salt, all in one food. Of course, your poor brain never stood a chance, and now we know why one slice is never enough. Pizza wears the crown for most addictive food because it checks every box. It is multi-textured, multi-flavored, packed with fat, salt, and carbs, and even sneaks in some opioid cheese compounds for good measure. It's the ultimate temptation. Now, if you feel a little personally attacked by this list, do not be, because knowledge is power. The good news is you can actually enjoy all these foods in moderation, so long as you are aware of their addictive potential. So set some boundaries for yourself from now on. A smaller bowl of chips instead of the whole bag, or pizza on occasion rather than every night. Don't beat yourself up too for craving them, because literally, billions of dollars of food science and millennia of evolution are working against you. If you have enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And with that, we say to you, bon appetit, and may the force of discipline be with you. You're gonna need it next time someone brings donuts to the office.